So this case being covered in depth for a bit is none other than a very serious serial killer case down in the deep south of Florida. It's a man by the name of Robert Hayes, who was convicted in 2016, and then later again he was actually convicted later of other crimes in like 2018. Now this is a very important case, so I desire to just request that everybody who can to share it far and wide, as there is a lot that can be learned and taken away, most certainly from this case. And Hayes was found guilty of several murders in the Florida area and elsewhere. And I'm just letting you know that other things are being worked on that are of great importance, including beginning issues such as Ghislaine Maxwell, which is something that's been worked on in the background for quite a while. There's a lot that goes into that. But other cases will certainly perhaps be covered in the near future as well, such as the Saget case and the Brown case and similar. So if you like, what you are discovering here and would like to hear more about these kind of mystery cases that have been brewing, be sure to like, comment on the videos and pass these forward far and wide, because we need to get cases like this a lot more attention, and the more attention they get, the quicker they get solved. This is a case of Robert Hayes. Thank you. One time, Florida cheerleader turned serial killer serves 3 life sentences for the crime. The judge sentenced Robert Tyrone Hayes, 39, to 3 consecutive life terms on Wednesday, after the jury failed to reach a unanimous decision. The decision came after a 3-day sentencing hearing in which prosecutors had sought out the death penalty for Hayes. The jurors heard testimony from defense, who tried to paint Hayes, now determined to be the long, elusive Daytona Beach serial killer, as a supporter and a friend. The jury found Hayes guilty last week of first-degree murder for killing Lucetta Gunther, 45, Julie Green, 34, and Iwana Patton, 35, of Volusia County, northeast of Orlando. At the time, he was studying at Bethune-Cookman University in Daytona. While convicted on those crimes, he still faces a trial for a 4th, more serious serial slaying, which he was linked to in 2019. His DNA was found at the scene of the 2016 homicide of Rachel Bay, age 32. Bay was found essayed, strangled, and a broken jaw with teeth missing all across the side of the road in Rivera Beach, Florida, 80 miles north of Miami. He was working as a chef. From there, he was linked to 3 more murders in Volusia County, and DNA was collected along with a genetic profile between an auto parts store and an empty lot. Green's body was found less than a month later on a dirt road at a construction site near a convenience store. Patton was also found along the same dirt road. Each of the victims gave impact statements, and then the jury sentenced Hayes. The daughter of Gunther told the court that she and her other siblings missed out on many years after the death of the victims. Hayes will no longer prey on the unsuspecting and vulnerable. He will die out in the state prison. So this is a very interesting story. Robert Hayes, 39, is accused of being the Daytona Beach serial killer, having killed more than 4 victims. 2006 to 2016, and shortly after, prosecutors seek the death penalty. DNA is linked him to a Palm Beach killing in Daytona Beach. Caleb J. Scott, age 26, is charged with first-degree murder, including aggravated child abuse and neglect, causing bodily harm in the killing of the infant son in Ormond Beach, June 11, 2019. Scott is accused of dropping the child, striking him and slamming against numerous tables and table legs. Scott is scheduled to go on trial on March 14th in Volusia. Bova, another killer who worked nearby with Hayes, is scheduled to go on trial for killing Zuhili Roman Rosado. Bova walked into the station and gunned her down with basically an automatic pistol. The terms discussed call for 45 years to life. And finally, Nicole Jackson Maldonado. This is an unrelated case, but her family apparently was associated with Robert Hayes, and I'm including this because of how important the information is. 14-year-old Nicole Jackson Maldonado, who gained national attention when she and a 12-year-old got in a shootout with deputies in June of 2021, is charged with first-degree attempted murder of a law official, burglary of a dwelling with a firearm, and criminal mischief of $1,000 or more. She took multiple guns, including a shotgun, to a location, stole everything from the actual household, and then proceeded to attempt to kill several people with the other gun, meaning the shotgun. And that is also linked to Hayes, because the family knew Robert Hayes very well. Robert Hayes is now guilty of killing at least 4 or 5 5 victims in the area around Volusia County, Florida. A little more to come. Thank you. 3 victims shot in the head, each dumped 1 month apart. The 2006 slayings in Daytona Beach scared everyone so badly they took down the license plate numbers. 10 years later, the call girl's body is dumped along a road 180 miles south in West Palm Beach, Florida. DNA and ballistics show the Rachel Bay strangulation and the gun deaths of Laketta Gunther, Julie Green, and Patton were done by one man known as Robert Hayes. Detectives also would like to know what Hayes was doing between 2006 and 2016, and whether the former college criminal justice major is responsible for more deaths. Yeah, that would be good to be able to know exactly who Robert Hayes was associated with. That's what I would like to know. Ever since I came across what was really going on here, I desired to know, who was Hayes very close to? Who's this other person who's been reported that's a suspicious individual in that area that Hayes was always talking to? That's what I want to know. And that is going to be determined because there were reported sightings of these suspicious people with Hayes during the time of these crimes. And so, like, subscribe, and make sure to comment and share these videos far and wide, because your help is what's going to get this solved. And we need to know who those other people were that were certainly with Robert Hayes. He's an interesting case to look into, because that's more than 4 murders in the Daytona Beach area. And there was another victim that's already been allegedly linked to him as well. So he wasn't just the local criminal justice major at one of, the prominent schools. He was much more than that. And he had some close associations with some people in this area of Volusia, Florida, that are very questionable. And so there's going to be a follow-up. Thank you again. Get this out there as far as you can. Appreciate it. Prosecutors informed jurors that the DNA links serial killer Robert Hayes to at least 4 crimes and possibly more victims approximately 16 years ago when he was a criminal justice student. Prosecutors say during opening arguments that the DNA taken from Robert Hayes matches material found in the bodies of 2 of the 3 victims who were found shot to death. Jason Lewis told jurors that Hayes was responsible for killing not once but 3 times in Volusia County. The jurors were also told they can learn how long DNA lasts on a person and how the tire tracks on the scene went directly to a junkyard. The investigation into the deaths of Laketta Gunther, Julie Green, and Iwana Patton was rekindled after in 2016 DNA was found on Rachel Bay near West Palm Beach. At the time of the Daytona Beach killings, Hayes was a student at Bethune-Cookman University. Several men were questioned in 2006 as possible suspects based on a gun purchase at a nearby convenience store. He told police he had given the gun to the mother and was never arrested. Investigators said in 2019 they ran DNA again, finding the victims through a genetic database of long-lost relatives and determined who the killer was. Detectives who testified told the jury that they put Hayes under surveillance, and the DNA from those items matched the killer's. He was then arrested. So very interesting case overall. There was at least one other suspect who was linked to the disappearance of Mia Marcano, for certain, which takes place in this same area. And so I wanted to bring up this case. It's a very important serial killer case that took place here in Volusia County. Not even a few months ago when the trial really got underway. And so I do believe people need to look into this further. Be sure to spread the word. Get this out there far and wide. It certainly connects to the Bertolino situation too. And make sure everyone knows about it. Thank you again. Appreciate it.